Welcome back to the Mayor's Update. We're here with Joe Preston, our mayor.
Welcome. What a great week. Boy, This week went fast, but there was a lot of stuff since we had last met on Mayor's Update. So great to be here tonight. And as you can notice, we're back in the mayor's office because both Grayden and I like to be warm, and so we're looking for indoor venues. If you have an indoor venue you'd like us to hold Mayor's Update at, we will. And I think we got a Chamber of Commerce one coming up, and we know we have some bigger Mayor's Updates with more members of council.
Next week is going to be fantastic.
All
We're going
right.
to get a couple more members of council on here to chat with. So if you have questions, let us know. We'll talk about what each of them is thinking to do with council over the next 4 years of their term.
Well, I was thinking, should I leave the room so they could say what they honestly think about the mayor? Maybe that's a better way to get.
Hey, I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I can watch it.
Yes,
later.
You had a very special council last Monday.
Great. Yeah, our inaugural council is always simply a ceremony to get everybody to swear the oath of office. And we have usually a local clergy. In this case, it was Pastor Jeremy Best from Faith, and he gave the charge to the city and asked us to do certain things. And then I had about a 10-minute speech, I guess, on the inaugural speech, really recapping how great the council is and who's with us and how much we like that, but also what we're trying to do looking forward. And it's still, we have to accomplish or finish off some of the things we already worked on. So we talked about that, and then we had a couple of cookies and went home. But it was really quite a nice night to see how well this council fits together.
It's really exciting.
I'm exceptionally excited certainly with Rose and Tara as the additions. But even on top of that, the old guys are pretty dang good too. We kind of like who came back, so it's really quite good. But boy, do we pick up the pace starting on Monday, because we start right into the budget.
Right.
At least looking at the budget, we've got a number of committees to assign people to. So I know that many of you out there applied, put in some applications for different city commissions, committees. And I thank many of those who also ran in the election but weren't successful. I've seen their names on some of these lists. So I'm really pleased what we're trying to do. But the inauguration, a special piece. Happy to say it's over with. Now we get real work done for the next 4 years, almost every Monday night. And we'll talk about it here on Mayor's Update. So, right?
And if you have any questions, let us know. We're happy to answer.
Always happy to. But we've got a number of things we want to cover with you tonight. But please, I'd rather cover the time in Mayor's Update by answering the questions of the people who come on and say hi and have real city questions of their own. Right? We know that we're doing a good job using customer service now because we keep talking about it. And customer service says, we've never been busier, but boy, we're getting a lot done.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. Right? And so they continue to get some calls. I've called 5 times. Of course, you look up, you can't find the 5 calls because they probably called over to the works department. Or they called, right? So we're asking you, please use the customer service as the funnel in, and perfect. Thank you. And we'll answer any questions you have here. We won't make you call customer service tonight. If we can answer it, we'll answer it. So.
Absolutely. And we've had some great past events over the last weekend, let me tell you.
Since we left Mayor's Update last Wednesday, we had the tree lighting on Friday night, and I'm pointing right outside the window.
Right out here.
And then the Santa Claus, the Horton Market on Saturday.
Market.
Boy, that was a bit of a long, cold day for some of the merchants. I met a few a very busy day. I know. I went to. I guess I didn't get there till 12:30 or so. It opened at 11, maybe 1 o'clock.
People were there at 8.
No, thinking it's a normal market.
And vendors were already setting up. So it basically went from like 8 until 5.
Right. And I went to get butter tarts from Wendell.
Gone.
I got brownies because he had 2 trays left. Do you want the ones with the walnuts on top or the ones without the walnuts on top? I said, wow, what a choice. I can pick this one or this one. So I picked up a lot of stuff at the market, even though I kind of breezed through pretty quickly because I had to leave there and head down to the Optimist Parade that was about to start. And Karen and Rob Flack and we judged the parade, and so it's pretty quick trying to get to see all the floats, and they're busy still finishing setting up and such. And then the walk down Talbot Street.
It was pretty brisk, that walk.
Oh, it was the wind was straight from the west, it seemed, and so it was in your face the whole time. I was talking to Karen Vecchio here yesterday on the phone, and she goes, I didn't know whether to put a mask on or not. And I said, well, it kind of defeats the purpose if we're walking in a parade if people don't know who we are. And so we had a lot of fun and met a lot of great people.
And your outfit.
Well, I had my best Hawaiian shirt, and it glowed in the dark. It honestly.
Did you have lights on your hat as well?
And I did. I had my Tilly hat because this was Caribbean Beach Christmas, right? So I had my Tilly hat, but I put some Christmas lights on it, so I was feeling lightheaded most of the parade. And you know, what a lot of fun, and what a great kind of theme to have, because all of the floats did a super job of, you know, Santa's in a hammock, Santa's got a pina colada.
Did you see the volcano, the smoking volcano?
Yes. Well, some of my favorite, there was a couple of plumbing stores.
Yeah.
Right? Well, and they had like plungers, and they're playing like steel drums in their sinks.
Yes.
Right? And they had a real toilet. Well, they've been to the Caribbean. You know, it's important to know there's a good toilet nearby.
Very.
And then
crucial.
Steel drum band, the band from Western.
The Western. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Music on every float.
Yeah. The tomato soup band.
It was so nice to see that level of community participation back. It just was. The place was a zoo, and isn't that the best way for it to be? Lined 3 or 4 deep all the way along, 10 deep at the
This
east
was like
end.
a mile long of people along the streets. Like it was intense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was like running along. It was so cold. I was like, I'm getting
Oh
photos.
no, you're trying to stay warm.
So I'm like, I'll just run along and get to the end, and then but then there were a couple breaks. So then I'm like hanging out at the end and just like, oh.
Well, as I said, I walked almost the whole of Talbot Street.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with my friend Karen.
Yeah.
But she makes us walk in the parade, and the optimists are fantastic. The parade is them, but they always make sure there's a car for us in case we had to ride in a car.
Yeah.
And Nissan had a nice van for me, but they also turned it into their own float. And I just said, look, if I get to a point where I can't make it further down the street or I get too cold, I'll just stand in one spot. When you pull up beside me, I'll jump in. And that's exactly what happened somewhere before Elgin Street on Talbot Street. And then I spent the next half hour with them, helping them take, they were taking apart their float and their lights and stuff. And that was great. The community involvement is just over the top. Can't be better. I really want, you tell me if this is a good idea. You folks at home, tell us if this is a good idea. I would like there to be a Canada Day parade.
Yeah.
And it maybe goes from here to Pinafore Park.
I love it.
Right?
We used to do those in Sparta.
Right, there used to be a Canada, I remember being
on
at a
Sparta
Canada
Union
Day,
Road,
right?
and you'd walk up all the way. There was one farm out on the west
from the
side.
school down to the, right? Yep, I do.
And there was cake. I remember the cake was really good.
There's always has to be a Canada Day cake wherever you're at, but why don't we... Anyway, let's talk about the festivities in St. Thomas ongoing. That would be our July event at Pinafore Park, of course, but it could be a parade through town until then. So let's think about it. Maybe the parade is at Pinafore Park.
Yeah.
Maybe it's once around the park or twice around the park.
I like that. And then you could just camp there.
Right.
And it goes...
So you have you've got your shop or your float, whatever it could be, right? And we do a Canada Day with a lot of flags, a lot of red and white. Anyway, the mayor's working on it. What else do we have this week? Oh, so we talked about the inauguration, the first council meeting. Announced this week and under construction and finishing by the 2nd of December is the new playground equipment at Optimus Park Playground. Some great pictures have been on Facebook, so take a look. There's some great stuff there. Fully accessible playground equipment and a new a base for it. And what else? Oh, the ice rink.
Yes, it started
the boards for the ice, so
construction.
they can be flooded when it gets cold enough. Well, it's almost been cold enough this week, but not quite.
I saw
It
some
warmed up a
comments.
bit today too.
Yeah, they were saying they were happy they were getting it done now as opposed to like during the flurries.
Well, last year they did it in a full snowstorm or after a full amount of snow, and so I think getting it laid down onto the ground while it's just fall-ish is
Yeah.
way better for them putting it. Well, I think I have to thank Gearlinks, Doug Terry Limited, Impressions Printing, and if I'm forgetting somebody let me know, because some great community groups bringing forward this outdoor skating rink between Lock School and Morrison. But we'd love to do a couple more in town. I mean, we don't want to stop there. If there's community groups that want to do it, so please let us know. So,
Right. Margaret's asking why Stephanie couldn't be heard on Monday night.
Wow.
She was singing the national anthem.
She sure was loud in council chambers.
I heard her.
Yeah.
I was packing up there. Yeah.
I'm sorry if that sound wasn't right. I remember her saying beforehand, well, I won't use the microphone. I'm loud enough. And I said, no, please, we need to. Anyway, it was gorgeous. She was gorgeous, and she sang well. So thanks, Margaret, I'll tell her you were wondering why you couldn't hear it. And Beth says Canada Day Parade's a good idea. Thank you. All right, we'll do it.
You know what? We should pop one of our trivia questions in right now.
Why don't we do that now?
We got a bunch of trivia questions for you guys because we have so many prizes at the end of this month. So first question is, how many kilometers of sidewalks are in St. Thomas?
That's a great question. Do you know the answer, or am I to know this?
I do know this one.
All right.
Yeah, and this is thanks to Tony Bendel. He sent this one in.
Okay, excellent.
All right. And what else we got on our list there?
Well, now we've got some upcoming things. So those are the things that happened in this community, and we're so proud of them. And thank you all for attending them. But the Golden Hammer Awards, our Builders Awards, take place this Thursday night.
Which is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, today's Wednesday.
That's
right?
crazy.
Yes.
I've got a meeting tonight to go over the final details for it.
Wow. Okay.
We're going to be running that show.
I'll be there.
Cross your fingers for me, guys.
All right. Good.
Hope everything goes really well. Very excited.
Friday night, we have the Urick Family
Euchre
Memorial Euchre event.
I love it.
I love Euchre. And Stephanie, as much as I love her, is not a euchre player, so
Really?
I have to go find my euchre in strange places.
Yeah.
Right. So
Jess
I'm
doesn't
going
like
to the
euchre either.
Urick Family Euchre event.
Yeah.
Right? And I know we play euchre every so often over at Caps Off, but I have to find another partner there too. But that's on Friday night at the Queso Station. And then coming up next week, the 100 People Who Care. And I shouldn't be calling it that anymore, should I? It's well over 100 now.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
The 100 People Who Care each all give $100, and that creates a $10,000 pot. And this year there is 7 different not-for-profits or charities who will do a presentation, and we all vote, and the winner gets the $10,000. But I believe we're now up to close to 3,000 more.
Yeah.
All right, if not more. And so a second place will get a fairly good sized check still too from the 100 People Who Care. Not hard to put this event together in St. Thomas. 100 People Who Care. There's more than 100 that do care, and we know that. But it's always able to come up with some good funds, good startup funds for projects for, I think last year, Indwell, our housing help, won it last year. And I think there's a couple of others just as worthy this year. There's 7 groups going to talk to us about it. So, and
even if they don't win, they get the exposure.
No, they get to see there's some fairly good people in this community, what they're doing, and so a lot more funding comes out of the people who are in the room besides just the 100 People Who Care. I think a week we've got the Old Church Christmas Sing, which is always a really special day. Councillor Peters, former Mayor Steve Peters, usually helps run this, but there's usually some hot chocolate or cookies in the room.
Yes.
But it's the voices in an old church like that just sound so good when you can sing really good Christmas hymns or Christmas carols. And so, and for those of you who haven't been in the old church, you should go just to see the old church.
It's a piece of history.
But it's cold in there. Church wasn't pleasant. I mean, I assume it had a stove at some point in its life.
Well, people would have like the limestone heaters that they would have in their horse and buggies.
Right.
And then they'd have that wrapped in a blanket. They'd take
and
that
they bring
into
it
church.
in, right?
Yep.
And if you've been in the old church, you'll understand what I'm saying. But each of the areas where you sit are family size. So a family of 6 would have a spot that held 6 people, and then there's room for 2s and 3s and 7s,
and everybody would have their own booth.
That's right. And so you were kind of huddled pretty well, right, in the old church. So that
and heaven forbid you take someone else's spot.
Oh no. A certain family, there's a certain amount of donation that got you the types of positions you might have gotten that church. So the just so you know, we've had a great year this year with our food truck group. So we're meeting. They've asked for a meeting with the mayor in a week. So December 5th, we're meeting here in the mayor's office to talk about what does next year look like and how will we arrange renewing licenses. Is 6 the right number of licenses now that we're allowing the parks and the playgrounds, Password Park and the Doug Terry Ball Complex? Maybe it's more. We'll ask the food trucks whether it is or not, but we're just going to have a good, all right, we tried a bunch of things. Let's have a conversation. Also coming up, the Big Brothers Big Sisters, Barb, the executive director there, is retiring after
like 30 years.
I don't know. She's only like 35 years old, so I don't know how that's possible. But December 8th is her retirement party. So
and just a fantastic person. The amount of effort she has put into building Big Brothers Big Sisters in St. Thomas Elgin is phenomenal.
By we I mean Wendy's. We've been heavily involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters for almost that whole 30 years. Whether it was the $1 million hole-in-one and all the work that went into that, to the first year of the ball drop, and the ball drop continues, and their curling bonspiel, and look. Barb put a lot of work into this community, and she will be missed. And I think there's great people following in her tracks at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So that's December 8th. That's happening. You talked about the Harvest Hands turkey dinner. Now that's December 9th. You share some details.
So they're doing a whole turkey dinner for you, and it's $20, and you pick it up between 5 and 6 p.m. on that day. And if you decide that you can't pick it up and you want to donate it, you can also donate it to the people that are in the Rail City Lofts or to the Nameless, and then those folks will get that meal.
There'll be good food out that day. And thank you, Harvest Hands, for first of all for all the things you already do, and now a neat thing at Christmas, right? So perfect. Mall Santa.
Mall Santa. I love the Mall Santa. There's just something about being an 80s kid, and like that's when the Mall Santas were all the rage. And now Mall Santas, I don't know, it's like a renaissance of Mall Santas.
Any kids listening, will you turn off the volume for just a minute? Because I was Mall Santa one year.
No way.
I was.
What? In St. Thomas?
In St. Thomas. It was a United Way fundraiser. I was the chair of the United Way, and somehow I'm about the shape of St. Thomas, or of Santa Claus, I mean. And so I got to be Mall Santa, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Listening to kids' wishes. It was really a good time. But, okay, back to the volume.
We've got an answer on the kilometers.
Oh, yes?
It's 202. Ian Chandler has nailed it.
Oh.
So I'm going to add you to the list for our trivia draw.
Yes, excellent.
Yep. And I'm going to pop up the next trivia question that we have primed here, which is, what year was the St. Thomas Fire Department established? Bonus question, what were they known as?
They weren't known as the St. Thomas Fire Department, I would guess.
No.
From the way you asked that question.
That's right. It's a pretty funny name. I think it's a funny name. I think it's pretty cool. And that question is from Steve Peters. So Steve Peters, Councillor Steve Peters. Right. Thank you for throwing that out for us.
Oh, you have is that? I think that's a picture of the Southwick Road Fire Hall.
You got it. So this is also
I have one in this office someplace too, but yeah.
So this is the actual fire hall shared from Steve Peters.
Right.
I'm going to kind of show you there. And that was built in 1882. Very, very cool.
All right, so we'll wait for an answer on that too. What else is happening at the mall is mini golf starting December 2nd. Thank you, the Bada Gigs. Mini golf starts on December 2nd. We're really pleased.
So
I think
excited.
There's probably some sort of tryout and family deal on the 1st, but open to the public on the 2nd of December. Thinking of taking your wife, girlfriend, husband,
Our whole
spouse,
family's going to
anything,
go.
to shop at the mall and let them go ahead and shop while you play a good round of mini golf. I'm thinking it's a good thing I can do at the mall.
Very excited. People are concerned. I did see some concerns on St. Thomas happenings about balls flying around and causing catastrophe.
Well, I guess at any mini golf you would have to worry about somebody who did that.
Absolutely.
But I would think that's a bit above and beyond the possibilities. But there are people out there who are rude. For anybody who follows Facebook, we know that there are some people out there that are a little rude.
One or two, not a lot in St. Thomas, thankfully.
No.
We've got a great community, but, there's a couple.
Right. Okay, Margaret has a guess. Is that it?
Margaret is saying 1898, and it's a little bit earlier than that.
Okay.
But a good guess.
Yes.
It is the 1800s, which is crazy to think about.
No, that the fire department's been around that long.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Chief Dave what the first day was like there. Okay, wait, maybe he wasn't there. Yeah, okay.
Oh, all right. So that's a pretty easy one. You can search that one online because I did a verification on that
did
just
you?
to double check.
All right.
And I was also hearing, we were talking about events, and we were talking about St. Thomas having more events and stuff. And I was over at an event in Elmer last night, which is the original art show.
Yes.
Which was organized by
And
Wendell
I hear
Graves.
it was phenomenal.
It was packed. There were hundreds of people through. It was
it's close enough for St. Thomas people to go to Elmer.
Yeah, well, there were a lot of them there.
Right, yes.
And there was one fellow who moved back to St. Thomas, Greg, and he said, you know what, what's really cool about St. Thomas is how many events we're having. Because when I was growing up in the 80s, there wasn't anything going on. And now there's like every weekend you can do something.
Well, and that's the intent. The winter's a little tougher, but with all the church bazaars and stuff, there is stuff before Christmas. We'll have to watch January and February. What do we have? What can we have? Right?
We got the art crawl in February usually.
Right.
And it'll probably be back now.
Then when you get good weather again, it's easy to hold a weekend event, right? So let's keep doing it. We need your volunteer help. We need everybody we can have to make our city a lot better. So
yeah, Margaret McKnight is saying 1850, and she is right. So she's going to be added to the list. So that was the founding of the fire department in St. Thomas was 1850. So bonus question, what was the fire department known as? And we've got another piece in here. Emily Parsons Johnson is asking, speaking of events, when will Sunset be open again? Smiley face.
I thought it was.
It is not. I tried to go through there on my way to Port Stanley.
We can now everybody can get to their homes easily, but the last of the connections, and we know that Fingal Line is now open. You can go all the way straight through and get into Sunset. You're right, but I thought it was very close. Look, we said November.
Yeah.
So we've got a few days left of it finishing in November. I will ask, and we'll know for next week.
Okay. Yeah, because
it'll be December, and I may have to apologize.
Yeah.
I hope we're done.
I was on my way over to the prep.
I haven't gone that way, so I
thought it was open because we talked about it. And it was we'd driven through there before.
Right.
And it wasn't totally finished, but it was open. So I was trying to get down to Port Stanley today, and then I was like, no, it is fully closed.
Because it needs to be paved.
VA Berry Park.
Right. That needs to be paved, and that may be why the total closure. I don't know. I'd have to make it up, but we'll find out. All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Emily, for asking, and we'll try and find out an answer for you.
And we've got in Port Stanley, just to give a shout out to Port Stanley, Dickens Day parade on Friday night, and then Dickens Day events on Saturday.
Yes, and there was years without the Dickens Day parade, right? And so for events around us, they seem to be coming back. We seem to have another kind of flood of let's do the neat things we used to do. So I'm happy to hear it's back too.
It's so exciting.
But I remember my times as a member of Parliament. Sometimes I think 8 to 10 parades in the Christmas season, and mostly not the warmest times. Right?
No.
So it's always fun to the. Is that correct?
Yep. The Beaver Fire Company was the name of the fire department in St. Thomas in 1850. So Sharon Montgomery Anderson, one of our all-time winners for the trivia question throughout the Mayor's Update,
the Beaver
takes another
Fire
spot.
Company. Now, I did not know that. Yeah. It's great. I think we should change the name back.
I think so. I love that name.
I was talking this over. We have a new deputy fire chief,
Yep.
and the chief and the deputy chief came to visit. But with one of our fire department, they wear very nice black uniforms, right?
Yes.
Right. And I said, we should get some Hawaiian shirts for you guys that are kind of all flames, right?
Oh.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
Can the
wow.
mayor pick out the uniform for the fire department? Because I think
Honestly,
flaming shirts would be
Yeah.
just about right. But I think we should go back to the Beaver Fire Company.
Yeah, right? Like, it's cool. And I know there's a campaign in Southold.
Damn. Sorry. It's the only beaver joke I got. I'm very sorry.
So Southold got a new logo.
Yes.
And previously there was a beaver on their logo, and now there's a keystone in the middle
Right.
that's transparent, so you can do transitions and stuff, which is cool. But there's a whole campaign to bring the beaver back in Southold.
Oh. You're beaverless, and we want to fix that.
And they want to fix it,
Okay.
yeah. Because the beaver is like a keystone animal, is what they're saying, in terms of the community
Yes,
at the time.
I agree.
So it's yeah. So maybe we can do that as well. Get on that bandwagon.
The gingerbread bake-off, which we're not entered in.
So you can enter up until, I believe it's November 28th, to the Big Brothers Big Sisters Doug Terry Bake Off.
Right?
And
Now, I was begging to be
Yes.
a judge, so I think
I want to be a judge this year if I can be. As
all
long
right,
as
so
I want samples.
You and me.
Yeah.
We should do mayor's update judging it instead, because it almost it made Stephanie really mad, our making of a gingerbread last year.
Stephanie made half of our gingerbread
No, she
house.
did, because we both were really busy and said, "Here, will you take care of this tonight?" And
Yeah,
so,
Stephanie was
right,
amazing.
right. So happy to help judge and come out to the bake sale, because what's wrong with the bake sale?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's on December 3rd at the St. Anne Center this year, not the
St.
Queso.
Anne Center, yes.
So mark that on your calendars. I believe it's from 10
It's
until...
on my long list.
I know, there's so many things. It's very exciting. Yeah, 10 until 3 p.m.
All
on
right.
December 3rd. And
Great.
there's more details at bbbselgin.org. Angela DeVries is going to judge. Awesome.
Oh yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, it's easy to step in and judge.
Oh,
yeah.
If you get that gingerbread, it's amazing.
Oh, well,
I
last
love
year
it.
wasn't too hard, with the winter
Whoa.
being outstanding. Of course, it was sitting very near ours, and so it made it look that much better. But excellent. Angela, so we'll see you this week at the Golden Hammer too.
Yeah,
right?
yep. And I'm meeting
we'll
with
talk
Angela.
about judging then.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Angela after this to
After
go
this
over all the
meeting.
details.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going
for
to
the
Caps
show.
Off.
I know, you're lucky. I'm like, I snuck over to Caps Off just to say hi to everybody before
Right.
this, but I've been there for like 2 weeks basically.
No, it's really. I got
yeah.
there after the Santa Claus parade. I was there after the tree lighting. Stephanie came and met me, and we had JoJo the Wonder Dog with us at Caps Off too. It was great. So, yeah.
Margaret's saying beavers are known as the favorite animal in this area. Absolutely. As a kid,
Yeah.
I love beavers.
Yeah.
They're these magical
Well, you
animals.
can tell where you don't see a beaver pond much anymore. And we
No.
used to, when we were in the country, occasionally a beaver would come and dam up the creek in the
Yeah.
back of the farm, and it was one of those, well, leave it there for now. We need a pond kind of there, and that worked. And then, oh no, wait, we got to rip the we weren't getting any water through, so we had to take the dam out. But love beavers.
Yeah, and I grew up just next to like a beaver pond, but my great uncle had a habit of, I think, maybe taking out the beavers because he wasn't that big of a fan of them damming up the
Right.
whole system. So I think he got himself in some trouble.
Well, if you're a farmer down water,
yeah.
you weren't getting any water
No.
now, right? So I get it. I understand. Water flows, and it has to happen. So
Yeah. All right.
what
well,
else have we got?
that's-
So look, the other thing coming up very quickly here at the city is budget. And so within the next week or so, you'll start to hear that we're discussing the capital budget. That's the great big improvements we're going to try and put forward at council for the coming year. We know that there's a large part of Talbot Street, which is a really big project that's on our list, and we'll have to make sure we can fit it in. But you're going to hear a lot of conversation with us about, it's a tough year for budget, because there's been a pretty high level of inflation. And so the prices are up on most of our construction projects, most of our departments, most of the thing the city has to buy. So we're going to have some real good fun with a couple new councillors and 7 old ones to talk about what we can do for the city in the biggest way with growth. But we don't want to overspend your money either. So.
Absolutely. Mark McKnight saying odd times at Dalewood. Do you know what that is?
Maybe there was beaver damming the creek there too.
Yeah.
I just said creek. I must be from Elgin now.
Yeah, you gotta say
I
crick.
said creek instead of creek. So
Yeah. Looks like Sean Denier was over at Caps Off just earlier. So.
oh. Well, was he waiting for me, or has he gone home?
No,
now?
I think he's gone now because he
Oh.
wasn't there when I popped in to say hi to everybody. So
He's been doing some great artwork in his time since the
Absolutely.
election, and I've been really following him. And
Loving that.
there's some beautiful stuff. But
yeah.
Sean, I know, has put his name forward for a number of volunteer committees in this community since the election, and we're looking forward to seeing if we can't find some work for Sean. Volunteer
Awesome.
work, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got to give a shout out for our show that's coming up next week. So again, to reiterate, we've got more counselors coming on to chat
About 4, 3,
Yeah.
4.
2 to 3 maybe.
Okay, good. And we'll let the people at home know we can't have more than 4.
Yeah.
Because if we have 5, it's an official council meeting. And we get in a lot of trouble if we're talking about city business with 5 people. So we have to keep the number to the mayor and 3 at the most, and it'll be a lot of fun talking city business with other people who get to make those votes. I'm not the only vote on that council. And I get outvoted every so often, which is just right with me, because if others have good ideas and are passionate about it, I'm willing to go along with them too. So that's we talked a bit about that in the inaugural night, that we never left the room completely agreeing, but we
Yeah.
never left the room mad.
Well, that's what you have to do.
Right. You
To
have to
get-
say,
Yeah.
I agree with you, or I'm willing to agree with you on this topic so that the next time we can agree in a different way. But it's not about mad. When you're done, it's voted on, it's passed, and it never comes back again. And that's been this 4 years of council has been great that way.
And I'm excited to see that continue. And
Yeah.
this
No,
is
I
the progress.
have no reason to think that we won't. We've got that good of a group. So.
We should also mention we're going to be on Rogers next week. This show will be airing on Rogers, so you guys are getting a sneak peek on what's going to go on Rogers early next week.
We better clean ourselves up.
I know we gotta. We'll
look
get
sharp.
sorted out. Yeah, we'll get
I'm
sorted
wearing
out.
I'm wearing the Caribbean shirt.
Yes,
that'd be good.
Next
Yeah.
week, okay. But for everyone who sees us on Rogers, welcome to the show. This is the mayor's update.
That's right.
We've been going.
You would be seeing this show on
Yeah.
Rogers. So thanks for having us in your living room on your TV. And it probably replays a couple of times. So
Yeah.
watch for it. Tell your neighbors and friends, and we'll get more and more people asking questions on Mayor's Update. The folks from Rogers. 6:30 on Wednesdays. Please come on, watch us do it live, and ask the questions. So your question can be featured on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks again to everybody watching, and we're gonna go home. We're gonna get some sleep.
Okay,
Bye, guys.
we miss you.
Take care.